This is the Michael Bryan Show. Hi everyone, welcome back to the show, and today I'm joined with JJ, who is an international speaker, and he's been inspiring and exciting people with his message for over 15 years now. He has a YouTube channel in the entertainment space, and he's hit over 57 million views to date. So JJ, it's great to have you on the show.
What's up, man? Yeah, let's bring it. Energy, enthusiasm, excitement, I'm ready to give some people some tangible stuff. Like, don't you hate it when you listen to a speaker or listen to someone and they give you moves, but like the moves you can't implement for 6 months, or you need 60 grand. Like, dude, I want wins now, dude. So I want to make sure people leave today like that, oh, I've got to move and I can get a win from today. That's everything for me.
I'm exactly the same as yourself. One of the things that really caught my eye is your magic YouTube show. That was one of the things that really kicked you off. So share a bit about that. Were you always into magic? Why did you start the show? Tell us a bit about that side of things.
Yeah, man. 16 years ago, I wanted to do two things. I wanted to stand on stage and tell everybody who I am and what I do. And I kickstarted that career as a professional magician. I was the guy that just was the kid that like, I'm going to learn it longer than the next kid. So that really springboarded me to the countries, to the clients, to the millions of views in the space of entertainment, and especially at the time, YouTube. And that gave me it gave me the conditioning of how to work with billion-dollar companies, how to stand on the biggest stages, how to do big deals. But my metaphor, or sort of my thing in the game, was magic tricks. So I was a little soldier who could do some card tricks, but that gave me the opportunity to be put into situations that literally has created the guy or the man I am today.
So what were the main takeaways, not just about content creation, because some of it looks more like street magic per se. How did you take that to make it more consumable, make it more viral within YouTube then?
Well, look, man, 2009, there was no such thing called personal branding, right? And there was no such thing as educational driven content. Those phrases were not big things. Now in 2022, personal branding and educational driven content, especially in my world, is huge, right? You want people to see you as the expert, and people aren't buying your product, they're buying you. So I realized back in 2009, I was doing these things, but I wasn't conscious to it. My theory was, I want to get more gigs as a magician. And someone said to me, you should just be the expert on YouTube because it's a new platform. That was all. It was like the post-it note strategy. I just wrote down, I will do magic tricks on YouTube and I will post. And then now that I look back, I was doing 3 videos a week for 6 years. So consistency, I was getting seen as an expert, right? I was making it entertaining. People want to like learn and they want to be entertained. And I was selling my personality, because it wasn't taking a pen and making it disappear. I was the guy teaching it, and I was fun. So people were watching me. They liked me. I taught him a magic trick. And then they're like, that's how the thing grew to the success today.
So what is it about personal branding that sets people apart from, say, being an influencer or being a celebrity? And are they different? And how do you make those distinctions?
Well, I would say they're all the same. At the end of the day, like, look at how you guys make decisions. Like, everybody listening, look at how you make decisions. Now, listen, if I go on Amazon.com and I buy a chair, I'm probably not really caring who the person who made the chair, right? But if you look at like a course or something online, or even listening to your podcast, Michael, people aren't really listening. I'm sure the guests are great, but they like you. There's a lot of podcasts. Why do I listen to Michael? Because I connect with Michael. I can relate to Michael. There's something about Michael that I like compared to someone else. And personal branding is the same thing. Like, people aren't buying your product, they're buying you. And I've realized this starting my career as a magician, working on television, working with an agency, running a nightclub, now running a PR and advertising agency here in Miami. I've had people from the beginning stages in different industries. But because people know me, like me, trust me, they will like, if you're being authentic with them, they'll like, yeah, man, I get the guy. I like the guy. I like the girl. And you can see how powerful this is by celebrities or by people with more influence than maybe you. They'll bring out a product. They have nothing to do with the product, but they'll buy it because people know them. Look at George Clooney. He's a tequila company that sold for I don't know how much money. He made at least a couple $100 million off that. George Clooney isn't a tequila guy, but it's George Clooney's face. Now you may be thinking, well, that's George Clooney. Yeah, I get that. But what George Clooney has done, you could implement that in your own space. So George Clooney's famous. He's got value. He's a celebrity. He has a lot of eyeballs and attention. If you put that into your own little world, right, or the world that you play in, how do I get more people to know me, like me, trust me? I could probably sell more. I could probably get them to listen to me more. And that's the thing that people forget now. It isn't the best product or the landing page. It's the person who has the most attention and really who's got that likability factor from people.
This brings up something that you can probably speak to, and maybe even have a bit of a discussion about, is this idea of likability and the cross between it just being a popularity contest, or someone that's more likable or more popular is now suddenly able to make more money than someone that's not. And I get that business is a meritocracy for the most part. It's the best product and the best marketing and the best sales tends to win overall. But then bridging the gap between personal branding is like, well, the more liked you are, that transfers across into the business. But then, is it just a popularity contest, or is there more going on?
No, there's more going on. And I think the way to position this, there's a lot of people online that says, I don't care what people think. And, sort of like F everybody else. Like, I understand when people say that, what they're really meaning is don't be run by other people's opinions, but you need to be liked. But don't run off people liking you, but you need to be likable, like, period. If you go out to the market and just be like, F everybody, like, you're not, like, dude, you're going to turn everybody off. Like,
Yeah.
but you don't have to be a facade. You don't have to be someone you're not. I think we've realized now in 2022, with the power of the internet, you can be yourself and it can do very well. It isn't just like celebrities on TV, soap stars on TV, movie stars, and the local sportsman who plays cricket, right? You have people now that are creating a muffin channel, a cupcake channel from their iPhone, making millions of dollars a month. They're not a celeb. They're not like a fake person. There's likability behind that. So the whole point of this is people want to get to know the person behind the product. Now, yes, people are saying to me, well, Jay, businesses are run. There's a lot of successful businesses. There's no face. I get that. I agree with you. But let me tell you something. More people now have more choices. Customers are getting smarter. They know they don't have to believe the first thing on television or on an ad. They're an educated buyer now. Hang on a second. Before I've got this pain or problem. I have the money. I need to get this fixed. I'm just going to do my research. I want to get to know, what does the company stand for? There's a personal element. What is the company owner? What are they about? Right? Like, people want to get to know the person behind the product. And in my opinion, that is what's going to last, because how many times, Mike, have you gone to a restaurant that isn't that good, but you like the owners? She treats me really good and she gives me a deal. I like her.
Yeah.
I go to restaurants here in Miami, dude, the food isn't the best, but I feel good going there, right? And I'm like, I'd rather go to someone I know, like, and trust than go to someone new and I don't know. We're humans, man. We're creatures. We go back to what's been comfortable. So I think, to answer your question in a long-winded way, likability is important. Just don't be run by it, but you don't have to be someone you're not to attract new people. That's the one thing, because authenticity will trump all. Everyone hates the feeling, man, of like, dude, I don't feel good with something, doesn't feel right with that person. Everyone knows this. Doesn't matter whether you're 15 or 55, you know that feeling of like, this person, it's something doesn't stick with me. And I think now it doesn't matter. You just got to come out and you be that consistency of who you are. People appreciate that.
So have you ever had someone come to yourself then, especially with the Ace of Spades agency that you run as well?
Yeah.
Have you had to convince someone that being themselves is enough? Because it's very easy to like play to the audience after a certain point, and those that don't, I've noticed just through my own observations, they tend to do well just as much as someone that does play to the audience. They kind of cancel each other out a little bit. Like you've just got to be okay with
Yeah.
how you're doing things. Have you ever had someone come to you that you've said you should probably try to show up as yourself a bit more, show different layers of your personality and all those things? Have you ever had to do that?
Yeah, you do it all the time. You do it every day. The kind of clients I work with aren't entertainers or artists or celebrities or people with that personality. It's usually people that they know they're an expert at something, right? They've either made their money, they've sold their company and they've got a story and a vision, or they're working on the business, not in the business. So it's like let's say a plastic surgeon, or let's say it's a coach. It's working. The systems are working. Now they're like, okay, now I have to start to write the book. I want to do a TEDx talk. Hey, I've sold my company. I've worked it for 20 years. I now want to build my legacy. So people come to me with they've never been on camera. They've done maybe a press interview. They maybe have done one speech. So my job is to make them feel comfortable and confident that they're allowed to share without having to be someone they're not. And that, Michael, is the hardest thing because people are still in this mindset of, and I get it, I don't want to show my life too much. Because, they're scared of letting people in. And I'm like, I get that, but you don't need to reveal everything like you see on TV. Why don't you just peel off an onion? Can you tell everybody maybe some failures in your life? Well, I can do that. Why don't we put it out there? And you know what happens? This is my favorite part. The moment that the person feels comfortable with me to share with the internet and they press the upload button, the next day, not one person has ever said in over 10 countries, 100 clients we've helped, that was a bad move. They're like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that people really like this. I cannot believe that I've been holding back from sharing this. And I'm like the grandfather sitting back, holding my arms going, because people have never had the permission to share it.
Yeah, of course.
And once they get validated, Michael, it's like, dude, it's a powerful move. They need validation from someone they trust other than me. I'm the guy. I'm the guy that knows it. I know what's going to happen. But once they get validated by a girlfriend, a partner, their husband, their wife, usually someone they don't know, it's usually like, oh, this lady checked me. She watches me on Facebook. I've known her for 10 years. And she said, great video. I love it. Dude, that's it. My job's done. That's where I should be like, hey, listen, the invoice is actually double now. So listen, that was a part invoice, That's dude, let me, and I know that you got questions, but what people pay me for, Michael, is not what I can sell. And I think if there is a coach is on here, people pay me for really the confidence in themselves, to bring out the confidence in them. But no one wants to buy that because it's not sexy. You want to buy a blue tick on Instagram. You want to buy the getting in Forbes. You want to buy being on TV. What you're really buying is me and the team to go, who you are, what you do, let's make you a blossom and put you on a media outlet to show it off. But no one wants to buy that. You want to buy the protein powder and the chicken breast, but you don't want to buy the trainer and the mindset to get you there. But welcome to the human life,
Can you speak to this idea of trusting themselves enough to be able to handle that situation? Because I've noticed over the years is that very often it takes a certain kind of person to put themselves in that position. So if someone wasn't, as confident or as sort of secure in themselves, if they were in that situation, they would struggle anyway. It's the whole like people want to be on Forbes. Okay, can you handle being in Forbes and the potential repercussions of that? Do you have the security in yourself to be able to handle thousands of messages a day or a week and the negative comments? And my understanding is if you can't handle one negative comment, try handling 1,000 negative comments when you get put on the bigger platforms. Can you speak to that?
Great question, man. Yeah, like the way I've been able to deal with the rejection, to just answer one question, is I've conditioned myself from 2009. Think about this: 3 videos a week for 7 years straight, right? On a platform that's seen in 150 countries, my videos. I'm getting hate every day. At the beginning, it's hard, but eventually you condition yourself. Like, let's say if anyone's listening in sales, after you get a couple of no's, you don't care anymore. Let's say you go to a girl or a guy, they reject it, doesn't matter anymore. So you're 100% right. The hard thing is, and it's very challenging to be by yourself and push yourself. That's why you get a coach or a trainer. You need to push through that, and it's going to hurt. There's no way to tippy toe yourself into rejection. You just got to, like, it will happen, and you got to sit in that emotion, and then you wake up the next day and go, I'm not dead. Okay, that hurt a little bit, that stung, but treat it like an ant bite, not a shark bite. That's what I tell people. And, Mike, I really want to do this. I don't know who does this, but I think entrepreneurship, or people who want to go to be entrepreneurs, I think we should have a conference throughout a year. Like, how like people go to SEAL training and they do like Hell Week? They should be a thing called entrepreneur training for a week. And every day they can get conditioned into something that entrepreneurs are going to have to go through. Or as I call it, running your own business. One day they should be standing in a line and people should come up to them and give them the worst hate. Because if they can't deal with that there, how are they going to deal with that in the real world? Imagine you go through every day. First day, you're going to make 500 cold calls. Second day, people are going to shout at your face and tell you you're a piece of shit. Third day, you're going to have to deal with working on no sleep. Fourth day, you're going to have to, get up at 4 a.m, just have these intensive, immersive, full-on days. And at the end of the week, you will leave, go, well, I know what it's going to feel like. So you go back into the real world and someone says, hey, I don't like your shirt. You're like, it doesn't do anything. So I think the problem is, and I know I'm jumping around the question, but too many people, my friend, you're right, have not been put into a position to understand that new emotion. So when it happens, they freak out, dude. I get it, man. Dude, one comment will break someone. That's how weak people are. You say to someone, this content is terrible, I hate it, dude, that will affect someone's whole day.
Is there a key to brushing things off, or does it come through conditioning and you have to do the work beforehand? Is there something that you can point to that helps people get over things quickly, or is it just the accumulation of over a decade at this point of just gradually getting better at it?
I think it really is conditioning. Look at sales, look at boxing, look at podcasting, look at speaking, look at sprinting 100 meters. Like, they're not doing it one time, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. And it's like, now that I'm so in this world of personal branding is really just personal. Like, it's just selling you. But personal branding sounds sexy, right? Humans now, there is an issue in this 2022 about sensitivity. We're very sensitive. We've become, I don't know what happened. I don't know when. Someone probably listening can give me the factual evidence, but something's changed where we've lost, especially as men, we've lost a little bit of that rough and toughness, to just be a bit more of a lion. And women as well deal with it too. Like, self-conscious and Insta likes and everything like that. It's very easy to be hurt and be and feeling shit. So Yeah, man, you got to condition yourself. And that, look, I could be wrong, I just feel like that's the best way. How do you condition yourself into negativity? How do you deal with negativity? Well, you got to condition yourself into it. People say you just ignore it. I'm like, dude, you know how hard that is, even for someone like me? Like, it's different for me. I will get hit. I call it hit in a different way. Like, if you say, Jay, I don't like your pocket square, you stupid. Okay, cool. If someone's like, Jay, I don't like your product, it's stupid. But if there's a way they can get to me, and they'll get to me, and I'm like, wow, that I haven't felt that before. Like, that hurt today. Like, shit, So conditioning, man.
Does that speak to then where the feedback comes from? Like, if it's a stranger, it affects differently to if it's your family or your friends that know you more personally. Like, how do you deal with the different kinds of feedback that you get?
Yeah, it depends on the value you put on the person. So, like, for example, if my mum, who I love, but she says something, I'm like, oh, cool, mum. But then some people, their mum is everything to them, and they're like, they will take it to heart. You know, Usually someone where it gets to me is someone I value, that I look up to, and they make a comment. I'm like, ooh, because I look at them as successful, or look at them as someone that they know that what they're talking about. So it's, usually someone that you value, you know. And the problem too, Mike, is a lot of people don't have the best interest at heart when they comment. It's not always true, man. This is the other thing I tell people too. Like, a lot of the times people comment is it's not based on you. It's based on and it's just a terrible mood. You were the catalyst for that comment right there. It's like the customer service lady that gets drilled, like gets shouted at. She's not really the problem. The person hasn't eaten. The person had a bad day. Like, and they're the person at the checkout line at the grocery store. It's easy. I'm gonna, oh, you overcharged me. How could you? You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't the reason. It's something else. So yeah, man, it's the value on the person.
So who can get to you personally then? Like, if your mother can't do it, then is there a particular kind of person that you don't necessarily you avoid criticism from, but you don't like show that person just in case they don't like it? So then you kind of can't really handle it if they don't like it. Did you have someone like that where it's like,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know
man.
whether to show that person?
There are people, I say this to my staff and my team. Sometimes I'm not ready for the emotions on what could happen here. Like, I play it like chess. So I'm like, if I show this person the content, how do I feel today? Am I ready to deal with any, like, okay, we work with a lot of people around the world, right? I get a lot of audio messages and messages. There are some people that come up on my phone that aren't the best client, or they're not the best person to deal with. I'm like, I don't want you to deal with that right now. Like, or I don't want to have to go into that battle. So it's the same thing, yeah, man. Like, some people, I would rather ask people for their opinions on people who I know they are emotionally in control. And this is hard too sometimes too, because you want to trust them, or you want to take on their feedback, and you want to be respectful. But then also, I don't believe that everything that comes from everybody's mouth is correct. And like, I'm the first person to say I'm wrong, but I'm also the first person to say I want to challenge that. And I think sometimes people just take it and believe it. I'm like, actually, hang on a second, man. This is how I feel. So yeah, to your question, man, like, it depends on the emotions I have for the day. Like, I'll do the hard stuff at the beginning of the day. If it's like 8 o'clock at night, dude, I'm not dealing with this. Like, I don't want to mentally cope with this right now, And if I can jump in with a thought with that, here's a great thing that someone told me recently. Remember one thing about social media, and just because someone reaches out to you does not give them the right to get your attention straight away. Someone told me that, and I was like, ooh, that's lie. Because we're very quick to respond to everybody else's accord, right? Oh, they message, I got to get back to them straight away. Now, yeah, there are different situations for different times and different clients. I get that. But the one thing that I've learned is that Are you ready to respond? Are you ready? Are you present for this? Because a lot of people are very quick. Boom, they just go, hang on. So I take a breath. Okay, I'm ready now to deal with whatever I have to deal with. So that's a good tip for everybody, because we're very quick to emotionally respond back to things, and a lot of people aren't in control of their emotions. And then it's something, you throw something back out of them, then there's conflict. I don't want conflict.
What I've started to understand for myself, Jay, is how emails and messages are essentially other people's to-do lists put onto yourself. So a lot of it is somebody else has got a to-do list, they've got things that they need to do, and they're reaching out to see if you can help them with their own to-do lists. And it's hard because you've got your own as well. So there has to be a bit of a priority basis, as you said. It depends on person to person, situation to situation, to be able to then deal with that, which then speaks to, do you have any rules or principles that you stick to, or questions that you ask yourself when it comes to showing up online or handling feedback and comments, just navigating that well? Because at a small scale it's probably easier than at the scale that you're at yourself. So is there anything that you've had to start implementing to help you handle that?
So I'm the first person to bring up any easy jab. You know what a jab is? Like how to get you. I'm the first person to bring up all my problems before anyone else does. So they can't get you on that. Make fun of yourself. If you got big ears, say it. Listen, me and Dumbo are hanging out today. Oh, wow. He really knows. Like, okay, great. I can't get him for that one. Right? Pink, I like this thing that Pink said. She's always stuck with me. She's like, you know, Pink, the singer. She's like, I bring it out before the media does, so they've got nothing to use on me. I'm like, I love that. That's great. Bring up all your problems before everybody else does. Then like, let's say you got big ears, right? Huge Dumbo ears. Oh, he's got Dumbo ears. I already know that. Like, they look stupid. It's that people tried to hide too much and then someone gets them. So the first thing I do is bring up all my problems and my issues online. I'm consistent. And that communication element, man, I don't know if I'm answering the question correctly, but when you were asking me, I was thinking like the big thing I'm big on doing now before I work with anybody or before I start to get in a relationship, like a business relationship, I'm very big to like, okay, before we move forward, before anything happens, I want to be very transparent on how this is going to play out. Because when you do that, there is no, like, deal with the problems there. Most people will appreciate that. Hey, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to happen. This is what could happen. Best plan of attack, worst plan of attack, right? We're going to sign an agreement and, you know, tell everything up front. I'm big on that because I've made so many mistakes by it will be fine, you know?
I like how you mentioned bringing things up before the media would. Let's use Pink as the example that you gave. Is that if you put it out there before the media does or before somebody else does, it almost loses its control over you, or loses its power. So almost.
Yeah, and the media could be anyone. The media is just other people. Bring it up before everybody else does. No one can get you for it. Next. Like it's such a great win. Like if your course, let's say someone's listening and the course isn't overly produced well, like I brought out a course and I tell everybody, hey, listen, here's the course. I literally shot it in an hour, right? It's not overly produced, but it's the content that matters most. Here's the link. It now educates them because they're going to look at it and go, this isn't shot great. Okay, but Jay said that. Okay, great. Rather than you going, here's the course. They're like, oh, my expectation, I thought I was going to get this very well produced program, you know, blah, blah, blah.
So that kind of speaks to being the kind of person that is, I guess, grounded enough to be able to do that. Because it's not something a lot of people can do.
Yeah, that comes from confidence and conviction, right? And that takes time. And that takes time when you realize you won't die, when you own that. I've been like by myself traveling around the world doing it for 15, 16 years, man. And the one thing I kept realizing is that, dude, like they can't get you if you just know you. Like they just can't. They can't. What are they going to sting you about? That conviction and confidence, people will just move. Oh, this guy knows what he wants. This woman, she knows where she's going. Yeah, maybe don't like her because of this, and this. It's not. That's petty stuff. People wake up and they don't like Chinese food, then the next day they love Chinese food. You know what I mean? Like it's just like dude, you get sick with sushi, you hate sushi for a week, and then what do you crave? Man, I'm craving sushi. I thought you hated it last week. I thought you were on the toilet for 3 days. Yeah, but I need the teriyaki chicken from that lady. Dude, and I do these jokes because there's so much like you gotta laugh, but you gotta like do grounded. The people know people who they can push over and they can't push over. Then you're like, I can't, you can't push. You can push pebbles, but you can't push rocks. You can't push boulders, dude.
So how important is it to have this like selective short-term memory then? The whole sushi thing made me think maybe they just forgot that they didn't like it and they woke up one day and suddenly they like it. Is short-term memory even like a factor with something like that?
Well, here's the way to position it, right? To back to people, don't get caught up on things that don't really matter. Like just shows you people, they like one thing one day, they don't like it the next day. So they don't like your post one day, dude, they don't even remember what they liked. I ask everybody this. Mike, let me ask you a question. What did you have for lunch 5 days ago?
I can't remember.
There you go. So maybe people remember what they had for lunch yesterday. Do you remember every post you saw on Facebook or Instagram this morning? People are not present. They're not conscious, Like, so what I try and do is give all these, bring up all the objections, bring up all the fears, bring up all the stories and go, not important, not important, not important, not important. And people are like, that's a good point. Like, we just get caught up. It's all the limiting beliefs. I'm an introvert. I'm shy. I'm not good looking. I'm not in a sexy industry. No one would want to hear from me. I don't have a good lighting setup. I don't have a good podcast room. Who's telling you that? Oh, I'm telling myself that. Welcome. Let's deal with that. Move on.
So how can we stop being our biggest critic there? Because obviously projecting your own feelings and your own beliefs onto somebody else is how we make our own life easier. The way that we criticize ourselves is basically us internalizing how we feel and all those things. But how can we stop ourselves being our own worst critic all the time?
Listening to podcasts like this, we're getting reminded. It's like motivation stuff. Most people don't need more knowledge, dude. They need action. But we get told, go on to Tony Robbins, go on to Grant Cardone. Like, you just reminded. It's really remindervation. It's conditioning ourselves to okay, until it becomes like it's in you. That's why I do it all the time. That's why I'm like listening to motivational videos, not because I'm like need to be motivated, but the world isn't in our corner. Media is not on our friends. So we need people like us. Once again. It's boring, dude. It's conditioning. Punch the face. And then you get punched in the face. You're like, I'm good. Let's roll. Punch the arm.
So is it just that element of reminding yourself all the time? And I kind of picture it like, let's say, stretching or exercising, where if you do it often enough, you don't do it because you need it, you do it to maintain because you feel it when you don't do it. Or like if you meditate all the time, you don't feel the benefit as much until you stop. Is it that kind of thing with the whole keeping the conditioning going?
Yeah, it's consistency, Like people want to, I'll probably get a message after this, Jay, I got a comment, how do I deal with that? I'm like, do it for 90 days straight. Come back to me. Because I don't know any other way. Like, we can either really go immersive, like you can pay me a lot of money and I can do it the hard way, but you'll cry and you probably give up, right? It's like there's a guy named, Dan Pena, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's got this castle, he's got this event that he does probably a few times a year. I've never been, but I heard that he puts a lot of people under copious amounts of pressure, right? Literally to break them, right? And now that's an extreme version, okay, but it probably works. But the way to do it at the beginning is, if you're consistent and just, I'm going to show up today. I'm just going to show up today. I'm just going to show up. It's like getting to the gym. I'm just going to go I'm just going to get to the gym. Let me just get there. Just get there and be fine. And I think the problem is no one's willing to put in the runs on the board, and then they complain why someone else is winning. People, how do you become a great speaker? I'm like, how many times have you spoken in the last 30 days? Well, dude, come back to me and do it every day. Like, stop looking for the quick fix, man.
That's a very, very interesting point, actually, that this idea of wanting the results without putting the work in. Like, if I could do all the press-ups and yet you can lose all the weight, then people would do that any day, wouldn't
Dude, let me tell you this. This is so funny. Like, I want everybody to listen to this. Go to your friend and say, listen, I'm trying to lose weight. I really want to tone up for 2022. They're like, awesome, I support you. Tell them the next day you're still fat. They'll be like, what? They're like, you're an idiot. It's one day. That is the same thing when it comes to sales, when it comes to branding, you do it one day and then you think life's going to be changed. I did one post on Instagram. Where's all my likes? Why is it the same concept? Like, people would laugh at you if you were overweight or chubby and you went to the gym one time and said, I'm still fat. They would be like, you've been drinking, mate. You're having a little couple of geezers on Saturday, mate. They would. Why is that not the same? Like, why don't more of us go, you've done one post? And they go, oh, you're right. It's because it's very confusing, this online space, dude. Because one person will get instant wins straight away where others won't. And then that's why there's a confusion. It plays with your psyche.
So this then, as a bit of a segue over to social media, to branding, this implies that there are some keys and some cornerstone things that we need to get across when it comes to building a brand, growing your social media following into 2022 and beyond. Before we get to the things that we want to do, is there anything that we want to avoid doing this year? Anything that used to work that now no longer does?
Yeah, so stop posting just anything online because you feel like you're good in the moment. Oh, my chicken parmigiana looks great. Might as well just post that. Dude, like, you got to remember, your social media is now a visual resume of who you are and what you do. Gone of the days where I'm just going to have a personal account. Nah, man. Everyone is Googling you. Everyone is looking at more than a website. People are smart. They know that your website, you can be produced. They know your social a little bit more realer. I can get to know the guy who's in the role of my company that I'm going to hire someone, or a girl, I'm going to check her out a little bit. You have the one wrong post on your Instagram, that can lose you from the next job. I've seen this firsthand where people have come to me and they're like, listen, I'm really trying to build, build my brand and do this role. And I go to her Instagram and it's all of her like looking sexy and like nothing wrong with that. But is that the right message that you want to show a new employer before they hire you? You're in bikinis. Like, I can see your whole body. That's fine if you want to do that role, be a model, maybe like, whatever. But if you're trying to be seen as an expert coach, if I've got that pain or problem and I'm going to come to your Instagram and I see that, I'm not going to trust you. I'm like, oh, I don't know. That is not a good thing. Any self-doubt from someone online today is not like, I'll give you another chance. It really takes them back, man. That's why I'm real big on like, how can we get way more trust of you online? When you have trust online, dude, you'll win, because most people are so guarded. How many times did someone like, I bought a course, it didn't work, the guy didn't work, that wasn't what I paid for. It sucks at people like us who actually, I think that I've got a great service to offer, but I've got to deal with all the bullshit of people who has ruined it for me You know, it's like the princess in the castle that's been charmed by the knight who just wants to have a good time one night. And there's a one guy that comes through, is like, I'm different, but she's like, I've heard it all before. I don't care how much money you have. Like, you got to really, it's the same, the princess and the knight story, or the princess and the prince story. It's the same thing with business, the customers. Everyone's been burnt and they're tired of it. And they're like, so they're guarded. So you got to literally and one thing can break the whole, see? So it sucks, man.
That speaks to the reputation story, doesn't it? Of years to build, seconds to destroy. All it takes is one thing to destroy it all.
Yes, man. It's everything.
So how do you describe to someone the difference between that and then being sort of more personally free with the content that you post? If there's an element of someone's watching, it can mean the difference between getting clients, getting a job, doing the thing that you want to do. How do you balance that with, well, this is me showing up as, my more authentic self? And this speaks to like inflating something or being slightly more overproduced than you would like, just in case someone's watching. That can be the difference or the decision maker for what you want to happen. How do you create that story and try to communicate it in a way that makes sense?
Well, that's where you have someone like a coach who can help you articulate that, because you don't want to be someone you're not, but then also you don't want to do it your own way, because your own way doesn't work, right? So it's like, that's where you pay someone who knows more than you to guide you to shine it off. I'm sure like a sprinter goes to a coach and knows how to run fast and wants to run this way. It's been working, but now the coach goes, lift your legs more and ease yourself back, right? And then you'll shave off half a second, just that move alone. So this is where you have to have someone who can help you guide you in the correct way.
So is that like peeling the layers of the onion in a way that is like aligned to the outcome that you want at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And to your question, like, this is why I know that if I stay authentic to me, the right ones will stay and the wrong ones, the right ones will stay and the others will not stay. Like, my personality and the way I sell and the way I present myself to the market, like, I'm the guy that I'm going to have a good time with you, but I'm firm. So that's my messaging. And I'm obviously always fixing up my messaging and trying to make it more articulate. But at the end of the day, that means when I have clients now, there's never a problem, because they know who I am. Like, they know like, when you go to McDonald's, you know exactly what you're getting. They're very good. Then you don't go in there and go, oh, these chips taste different. These fries, the burgers taste different. It's the same thing with your brand. People should know exactly what they're getting before they even come to you, if they can. Because then you don't have to go out to the marketplace and be someone you're not. So, that, I think I, answered a different question, but, you can use it.
It's okay. It's such a complicated or slightly more nuanced thing, isn't it? You can't just do whatever you want, but you've got to still be okay and not feel under too much pressure with how you show up, like it's over filtered or under filtered.
People have never been, this is a new space for people. Showing who you are. Like, I've met people that have built $100 million companies. They've never shown up before. And I talk to them and they're like, I'm completely horrified. Like, these people are like, on paper, financially, they never have to worry about money, but they've never, ever, ever put a post up and told anybody their story. That's completely changed, like, game changer. So now it's just educating the market. And eventually some people will get it and some people won't. And the problem, Mike, is that humans, we're very lazy and we're very sensitive, and most people are not meant to do this. How many people are really meant to be entrepreneurs? Like, entrepreneur is someone that takes greater, larger risks with money. Google it. define it. Most people, man, it's the same thing with anything new. Like, how many people are going to slave away at the office all day dealing with rejection, after with insecurity, after with uncertainty? Dude, that takes a very special someone. you know
Well, you mentioned trust before, and I think that's something that I feel over the years we've needed more of to be able to get what it is that we want from someone. Someone needs to really trust us and know enough about us that they feel some kind of connection before they then make the purchase. Almost as you said, the people want to be able to answer the questions about you in their own head before they then go ahead and buy something. So
yeah
talk us through some of the more recent up-to-date things that you would want people to show up with this year when it comes to branding and social media.
yeah let's give everybody three tangible stuff that you guys can get wins from today. So here is the three things you should be posting on your social media. Here are your staples, right? You do these, you're good, right? You don't have to worry about, this is like, everybody always asks, what do I post online? Three types of content: educational driven content, show everybody you're the expert. So if you're a realtor, tell everybody when's the best time to buy, how much money should I put down, should I rent, should I Airbnb, right? If you're a coach, what kind of coach should I get? When's the right time to have a coach? What does a coach actually do? If you're an advertising agency owner, hey, what can I do with $25,000? What can I do with $250? How do I get started on social? So be the expert. Number two, show people that you're not just amazing by what you say. Get other people to say it for you. Third-party testimonials. So get testimonials, screenshot text messages, and white out the name. Jay, super great to chat with you. You're really professional, reliable. I look forward to working together. You put that online, man, people love that stuff. So results. Third thing is, you don't want to be a Barbie and Ken Instagram, meaning perfect. Show people a little bit of your story. You don't need to show the baddest, darkest, deepest times when maybe you don't want to tell anyone. That's cool. But like, everyone has a photo of them maybe not looking crash hot. And you can be like, this is a time in my life that this happened. Or I just lost a deal. I just lost a business partner. Had a death in the family. Hey, this day I remember because bum, bum, bum. Give people actually a little bit of relatability. So those three posts, now you're seen as the expert. Now people say how amazing your product or service is. And then also you're relatable. Dude, that's it. I've seen this happen for me with clients,
So we've got educational, we've got something a bit more realistic, and then we've got the third party element. What parts of it allow the relationship to go that little bit deeper? So if you think about like coaching, or when I was a personal trainer, it was you wanted to learn as much as you can about the person, about the potential client. You want to know when their birthday is, what's their dog's brother's maiden name, or
Right.
whatever the case is. So what certain things would you recommend for people to go that little bit, make other people think that they know you at a deeper level?
Yeah, so showing up on your stories and connecting with people, talking to the camera like you're talking to a friend. Don't be like, hey everyone, hey guys, like, hey, so let me share something with you. People are like, oh, I feel special. I feel important. This is why I highly recommend doing Instagram lives, because you can literally talk to the person. Hey, thank you so much, Sandra. Sandra, let me ask you a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with your fitness journey? No one's going to say 10. Great. 6. Great. What do you think's holding you back from getting to 10? Great. Tell me, what's one problem you have? She's literally like got her own show and she feels connected. She feels special. So like a move that everybody can do today, you can go live for 30 days at the same time. Tell everybody, hey, I'm a realtor. I'm gonna show up every day at 5 p.m. and I'm gonna talk to you about the property market. Come online, ask me anything. Dude, you will get a client. You will get a win in 30 days. And ask on every live. This is where you can practice your speaking, you can practice your selling, you can practice your pitching, you can practice your communication. I love it. It's just a great chance to get out of your head. Hey, if you're interested, hey, have you got some value from this? Great. If you know someone that's buying or selling, tell them to send me a DM or actually connect me up. People are like, oh my gosh, yeah, law of reciprocity. I'm giving you something, you want to give me something back. You know?
Is that what it can come down to sometimes, is the whole reciprocity element? Is that how you picture people buying things in the future and
No,
investing maybe?
no, no. I don't sit into it like reciprocity because it's then you always constantly think if I do something for someone, they're going to do something for me. I just know that when I did YouTube for so long, consistency of content and showing up will trump all. Like if you keep get seeing as the expert, eventually you're going to break through the outer layer. At the beginning, no one knows you. Then they start to understand that, okay, this guy's showing up. Then eventually you start to get some traction with clients, with people. Then you start to be seen as the industry expert. Then you start to be as the go-to. Then you start to be seen as the celebrity. Then you people like, I'm only working with you. But that's going to take years. Like that reputation. Because most people are not doing it. Most people see like the waves of people. They did this, they did this. Oh, he's still doing it. He's still doing it. He's still doing it. Oh, well, maybe I probably should work with him because obviously he's showing the runs on the board, you know?
How important is it to simply not stop there? This is happening more and more often, by the way, Jay, where everyone's
Yeah.
starting to tell me all I did, Mike, was not stop. That was it. I'm nothing special. I'm not fantastic. I mean, I'm amazed at what I do, but I'm benefiting more from the consistency and doing it for years than a lot of the other things that I thought would have helped. Just by not stopping, that solved all those problems.
Yeah. It's, man, people by people. So, content has not died. Like, you should look at Gary Vee, man. He's like the living case of like, just do content, you know? And I'm not saying that's the only way to make it. I just know that's what I like about it. It's something I can control. I can't control Instagram. I can't control likes and views. And, yeah, you can, but you can't control the marketplace. But you can control your content and what comes out of your mouth and showing up.
It does make sense to me that if you keep going, I've also noticed with like podcasts and videos and
Right.
conversations and things, the first one that I did, nowhere near as good and as clear, I guess, and concise
Yeah.
as the interviews are now. And I know that when I hit 1,000, I'll be looking back and going, do you remember when I was at just about 200? I was awful compared to what I am now. It's
Right.
just repetition. That's all it is.
Yeah. Man, you just do it, dude. You know, come to me. Do it for 90 days, come back to me, then I'll tell you what's not working. You know?
In the spirit of leaving no stone unturned, Jay, just before we get to the last couple of questions, what would you want the audience to know? Whether we've covered a lot so far. It's been incredible, to be perfectly honest. I'm making loads of notes my side. Hopefully the listeners are as well. But is there anything that you will kick yourself if you didn't share once we stop the interview?
Man, I'm always trying to tell people like, get out of your head. Like, what's stopping you is the stories, man. Really, it's not strategy. It's not like, well, I'm trying to come up with the product name. No, no, man. You just don't want to start. You're scared. Own that. When you own it, you can control it. Even for me, I know I don't want to make these phone calls and I procrastinate and I find something else to do. I do because no one wants to do the hard thing. So if I can get anything through to you today, everybody wants to hear your story. You don't need to be in a sexy industry. You don't need to be cool. You don't need to have lots of money. You don't need to be like this or that or what you're just start, man. Just start. Like and try to be really conscious of the reason why you don't. Okay, I'm going to start. I'm about to stop. Why? See if you can see that. Oh, I'm this. Okay, great. Start.
So if people wanted to learn more about you, JJ, this is your chance to share your agency, what you've got
Yeah.
going on. How can
Yeah.
people find out more?
Yeah, man. Listen, if anyone's listening right now and goes, I resonate with this guy, he's hit some things, and I feel like I would want him in my corner a lot more. Hit me on aceofspadesagency.com. That's my website, or DM me at JJLive, JayJayLive. Tell me that you heard me on Michael's podcast, and I would love to hear from you. And listen, at the end of the day, don't try to do it all yourself. Like, invest in you, just pay it and get it done. Reach out to me.
Awesome, JJ. Well, for those that are listening, feel free to subscribe to the show, share the show on social media, tell us what you thought, and I look forward to seeing you all again on the next episode. Thanks for coming on, JJ.
Thanks, man.
Just before you take off, if you'd like to join my inner circle, which is accountability, access to me, and you also get the chance to have exclusive interviews with my podcast guests. If you click the link in the description for the podcast, you get a 2-month free trial in the inner circle. I shall see you on the other side.